Hello everybody, today we're looking again at the unreleased champion prototype, DarkLord, which a lot of us are having speculation on whether they're related to Androxus, but also now xLeu on Reddit, one of the people that is actually putting out quite a few good data mines at the moment. So if you didn't know, people are able to look into the data files, pull out things about the patch, but also xLeu's taken it to another level, applied that data to characters in the PTS, and we're able to play and show off some of the abilities. So I asked xLeu if I could use his footage and he said it was alright, so here is some footage of DarkLord in action, although just a massive disclaimer, nothing here is finished, nothing is final, and all of these abilities at the end of the day may be very jumbled up. But I do think it's interesting to have a little gander in game at how it's sort of working at the moment, and I think it actually gives a good indication of what this champion is going to be like. Just to get out of the way as well, in the last video I talked about DarkLord, I had the picture of the old Androxus basic concept art, where Androxus, if you didn't know, in the closed beta before Androxus was released, the designs were with a sword, or like a glaive thing, and a pistol. You can also see it here. A lot of people are like, maybe this DarkLord is taking some of that old concept art and bringing it to the forefront here in the game now, and maybe we're going to get a champion spin-off from Androxus, something that's related to him, maybe somebody in the same clan or whatever he's from, and also perhaps the Dark Crossing map we got before could be this champion's home. But that's all a lot of speculation, and I think we've been shown before that the odd team are putting out a lot at the moment and high quality stuff, so all likelihood is that it's a completely new character concept and it's nothing to do with Androxus at all. It's just a stand-in for the moment on what perhaps could come along the line. Anyway, let's have a talk about the champion. The health might be wrong, but at the moment 2100 sort of points away from this champion being a tank, which was shown when the devs accidentally showed the 4 champions that were being worked on in a dev stream, which I did another video about, where it was listed as a frontliner. So likely it's a flank or a damage dealer. And also, going on to his main attack, the Inferno blade, it is direct damage, and whilst a blade, it does seem to have range. And my best guess at the moment is it's a slash that travels through the air, or possibly a throwing knife, but I feel that they wouldn't do this again after Maeve, because they've said that they don't really want to recycle champions. But what does everyone else think about that, just looking at the animations now? So going off of my wave or energy blast sword theory, there are 9 shots per magazine, or whatever you might call the sword energy or whatever that is, and the base damage is 400 per hit, but it seems that the third slash or attack takes longer and hits for 800 instead. This attack is on a timer, it seems, because it doesn't look like it's a burst, because you can shoot a few off and hit the 400s and not hit the 800. And whilst watching it being used on the moving pip, it did seem that the hitbox was really large, and my initial thought was perhaps the first 2 slashes are horizontal slashes and short sort of horizontal waves, and perhaps the third is a single target vertical wave where you slash downwards with a sword. And if you watch the video, and I'll slow it down a little bit, he hits the initial shots but then misses the third shot, which would have been the extra bonus damage. Anyway, that's my best guess for the left click at least and the main attack. The Whirlwind is also really cool. It's a right click ability with a current 5-second cooldown. You basically spin around, passing through enemies and dealing 500 damage to anyone you hit. I don't know whether you can only use it on one person, and it doesn't seem to do any knockback, even though I think at the moment what's been used is the Makoa shell spin hit sound, which gives you the idea that somebody gets knocked back, but it doesn't seem that way. And it's currently listed as AoE damage, so perhaps it'll balance out the kit a bit to balance out your direct and AoE damage or area damage. And it seems to be good for getting behind somebody, like spinning through them and then you're behind them in their back, hitting on them and trying to kill them, which seems very much like what a flanker might do. The Q ability currently is named Counter, and it seems to only counter 1 shot, or at least there's a very short period of time that it counters attacks. It doesn't seem to throw anything back or give any bonus damage or anything, and it could be that this ability is just a bit bugged, as with the counter you'd think that there's a counter attack or something going back at the enemy. Also, if this DarkLord does have a blade, it might be deflected with a sword. I know people are going to shout Genji here, but maybe that's what it does. The F or escape ability is called Billow. Now this one seems one of the least eye-opening with the animation. We don't really know what's going on with it, but it seems to initially propel you forwards, then go speedy in a third-person animation. With Billow, the word Billow, it makes you think of shadows or smoke, so perhaps he springs forward in a puff of smoke, and that's my best guess. Anyway, what does everybody else think? It also looked, after you use this Billow, that there was a bonus 160 damage on the normal attack. Whether it's just the first attack, I'm not entirely sure, so it could work a bit like Cassie's dodge roll. Although that could be something that's carried over when they've applied everything to the Cassie character. The ultimate is probably one of the coolest things about the kit and something that's really unique, and that's what it does is it stuns the enemy and does 2000 damage in the form of 400 damage slashes in the duration of the ulti, so you get 5 slashes off of your normal attacks. There doesn't seem to be the bonus damage on the 800, and it kind of reminds me of Juggernaut's Omni Slash in Dota 2, and it could be sort of a slashing motion going around the character, although it doesn't seem to jump across unless all of the NPCs in the training room weren't close enough together for it to jump across. And really the Juggernaut thing came from the Whirlwind as well, because Juggernaut in the game in Dota 2 spins around, although I don't think at least they have CC immunity whilst they're moving in that spin like they do in Dota 2. And it could also be some sort of like jumping on and stabbing motion, and it could be something pretty horrific, especially if this DarkLord is this hooded sort of like Nazgul looking being. It could be like when the Nazgul are in Bree and they start stabbing the pillows and the beds where they think the hobbits are. If you remember that scene in Lord of the Rings, that really stuck with me actually. But they could be like that, stabbing onto the character that you attack with your sword or blade or whatever it is. Again, DarkLord is a code name, and the character when it comes out will probably have a different name, and also all these abilities might go out the window, and perhaps this champion will never see the day of light. So this is all just speculation and based off of what we can see from xLeU's expose of the champion and some footage. Anyway, be sure to let me know your thoughts, theories, and all that jazz in the comments section below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time. Joshino.